What happened to it? Oh, wow. I began to think this was a really good joke.
They scared, boy.
Okay. So, what I don't know. Anyway, this helped me.
All right, everyone. We'll be getting started pretty soon. Hey, Flip, damn it. All right, babe. We're live now, but we're giving everybody an opportunity to get everything together. Shalom, shalom to everyone here at IBI today for this special day that we're doing on this segment here at IBI. There you go. Just in case we hear some noise, I'm gonna close this down a little bit. Sorry, everyone, we're running a little late today, but we will be getting it in pretty soon. Me and YAHWEH in on this study. Shalom, shalom to our friends, brothers and sisters around the world. That is doing the will of Yah, our Father, Hamashiach. We thank him for blessing each and every last one of you around the globe. And those that therefore are in your family who are now committed to Yah's teaching, laws, statutes, decrees, and so on. You got me that up under there. I sit on there. Yeah. Yeah. Well. This will be more of a logic teaching today, everyone. For our brothers and sisters that are new to IBI, yes, we do logic teachings as well as precepts and keywords. So as you know, with me and Nika, Yazraya, Maikaya, here at IBI. I gotta get myself together here. Hope everyone is doing well around the world today, as well as blessings going out abroad to those that it matters. We got a very good one today, huh?
Yes, we do.
Like always, right, y'all?
Like always.
And today we'll be talking about, what's that?
The second message to Iran. Bless the 9 coalitions.
All right. So we've been hearing a lot of stuff in the news, everyone, right? Seeing exactly what Yah has been prophesizing to allow us all to know that there is a closure coming. We see these wars all over the place, as is speaking in Matthews and many other places in the Bible. we see that there's spiritual trouble around the land where multiple people are at and living now in third world countries. We can see things are being more uncomfortable. We're seeing hospitals, many things are being judged because I won't say that this is just happening for no reason. This is happening because of Father Yah allowing us to see the fulfillment of his power through his judgments upon the nations that have therefore made this land and every land among humanity a defilement. And Yah says, now I'm gonna actually bring a closure this time to the whole land, and I'm gonna bring judgment upon the whole land. So that means everyone and anyone, because now Yah says we're getting to the final countdown, and a lot of brothers and sisters are sleeping and don't understand the countdown. There is a stage being set up right before your eyes. If everyone have your phones, please turn them down, because the devil is an idiot at all times. So now we are seeing that this thing that is going on in the world is biblical, is spoken volumes to decreement. My Father's words are ringing even louder in the land now than it did centuries ago. So now, as brothers and sisters here today at ABBA, we're going to be going over some things that Father have therefore brought out to us to allow everyone to understand the time is now to start preparing.
Correct.
Right? And it's no game, because here it is. You can see it all over the news. For those of you family, or here it is, associations who therefore like wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, then therefore they will watch the news and stay up on that. And also not just the news within your own state. You want to go outside of the country to see what's going on. And you want to basically do as much research as you possibly can online to figure out what's going on. But now, today, with this segment, this should be able to allow everyone who actually catch the stream and therefore tune in with us to get an opportunity to understand what is truly going on and what is about to happen, because we're in 26. And we know Trump term ends in 28. So now here it is, you looking at the time frame and looking at things or how they are right now. People are more and more pissed off than they were 5 years ago, because the formula that was supposed to work didn't work. It only worked for them. That means they layered their pockets with revenue that therefore didn't even think about, here it is, let's give the people, since they've been through all of this persecution and oppression of high prices and this and that, right? Okay, we got tariffs. Where's the tariffs? Money at, right? But Trump building all of these things, right? And here it is. That whole thing that completely went away of talk. So now this segment tonight, brothers and sisters, will be very important to show you and allow you to know, for all of us brothers and sisters that are with Yahweh, and those who are basically Christians and also many others, the religions, your heart is what's going to actually be able to allow you to know if judgment is coming your way more until you are completely annihilated, or You turn from your ways and become now a son of the Most High, righteous Elohim, Yah, El, Abba, Yah. And here it is. You work every day with effort to become more and more perfect and complete in your ways of living. Today is going to expose that, because here it is. This is the second message to Iran. And here it is. It's proving that Yah is sitting with Iran, as we have proved. Me and Yahweh Micah Yah in our last video.
Correct.
And we have touched on what is going on. And as many brothers and sisters have seen, things are what we have signed.
Correct.
From the beginning. So now here it is, these puzzle pieces, these words of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is a fulfillment for grace in the hearts of those who truly love the Son, Hamashayeh. Because here it is, the only name that will set you free is Yahweh. Like I said, Yah is about to judge the whole earth. So that means here it is, we're not just pointing fingers at just the Gentiles and the heathens. We're also going to be pointing at the Israelites and those also of Judah, because we're talking about the whole world, okay, finna come under subjection to this catastrophic shock, I would call it, because Benjamin Netanyahu have no idea what is being prepared as the cocktail by the Hebrew Bible's reference.
Correct.
Because here it is, the crimes and the sins that have been done in Israel, Tel Aviv, and so on throughout that land have now, here it is, brought on a very major judgment for all that's involved. I'm talking about a ripple effect. These who are in the East will actually, here it is, bring about with the North and many others, Southern and many others, as we have pointed out, that this war is going to come and affect America. Because we're talking about a ripple effect, right? So tonight, I hope everyone is ready for this 2.5 hour logic, precept, and keyword teaching tonight. And may Iran understand this wisdom, this knowledge, and understanding, because here it is, Yah picked them, this nation, to bring about what is about to come upon the whole land.
This particular time.
This particular time. Like Phil Collins said, you can feel it in the air. And in that lyric, he says, but I remember, don't worry. Remember that, y'all? So now here it is. This is only for those who can understand tonight's segment, because it's only going to prepare you for the shock that those who are unaware. Because here it is, this information is going to let you know that Iran and many others of the coalition will come against the whole land. And it is decreed by the Almighty Father. Some call him Lord, some call him Jesus, some call him God, some call him whatever name they want to. But I will allow and know that here it is tonight. Many for Iran will have the questions to therefore deliver a sound decision on what is released through the Hebrew Bible. And here it is, as we have seen, Yah is using Iran. And here it is, Persia, who basically, here it is Elam. Okay? So now when we're going to be looking at these things and pointing out these things, me and my wife, yeah. So let's get into it, get into a prayer, and therefore we'll just start up and go from there, because here it is. We have a lot of precepts to get out tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And I will probably be reading from my physical book tonight, everyone.
And I'll be reading from my phone
Digital
Bible, the digital.
Okay. And I just want everyone to have water, paper, pen, whatever you use with us here at IVI for this study. And I hope that many of you get this segment out to many of your brothers and sisters as possible, to include for also referencing for their teachings, and also to take, on as Father instructs each person. But here it is. These will be stepping stones as puzzle pieces to get you to the information of understanding that here it is, what is about to occur pretty soon. I wouldn't say like tomorrow, but coming in the future months down the line here. And I will actually just tell everybody to keep an eye on Trump's deadline of term, okay? And take for whatever you have learned here today at IVI Intelligent Voices Israelites, that therefore you know that the information you got today will give you remembrance later when these things happen. So that way you'll know exactly what is going on and what to do next for your family. And here it is. And prepare, just period, prepare, because it's not about fear. It's not about worry, everyone. This is all about your transitional commitment, okay? From the body, and here it is, into the spiritual realm with Yah.
Amen.
Amen. And here it is, to know who Yah, the Father, is using to bring the judgment down on not only the east, but as far as the eyes can see throughout the whole land, the globe, okay? Where no one can hide, okay? This is a straight thing that we will be talking about tonight. So now let's go into prayer. Almighty Father, my Father, YAHWEH, I give thanks unto you for gathering us here today with my brothers and my sisters, allowing us to have the fulfillment of your joy, your blessings, and your spirit. Knowing that here it is, we have come back unto you by the hearing of our ears for what the Spirit has said. This Bible has decreed in us the best of us, because here it is, we know that we couldn't do anything without a true Savior. And that true Savior came by Yahweh, the Hamashiach Yeshua, sent by the Father, YAHWEH, Elohim. So now here it is, El Shaddai, and now we see that the Spirit, Father, we give thanks that you have blessed this on every one that therefore have heard the Son. In Yahweh's name, amen.
Amen.
So now, as we see and know that the second message, that's what we'll be talking about tonight, everyone. We see that clearly that Iran is really, actually, here it is, standing up for themselves. And here it is, many of the countries don't want or saying that they want a nuclear bomb. But then we got to remember, didn't they lie and say that Saddam Hussein back in the time had weapons of mass destruction? And then they had his execution live on TV. I mean, international television. And here it is, come to find out that man had no weapons of mass destruction. He was not being in treason to his country at all. And here it is, the Americans and many other allies plotted that on Gaddafi and Saudi, what's his name?
Saddam Hussein.
So Saddam Hussein, right? They got some names, man. So now here it is. We see that it's been a trail of lies down our journey here in America and abroad, right?
Right.
And Yah is now allowing us to see that here it is. What role does Iran play in the end times? This is what everybody want to know. What do they, is they really going to be able to have a nuclear weapon, or is they going to be able to actually build a coalition? Will anyone join them? Or, so here there's a lot of things are in the news, and, people are talking about these things, right? Because you can't help to hear about it, because here it is, either it's coming over the radio or it's coming over the television, or it might be just, here it is, coming from your phone. And here it is, you're seeing things that people being hurt, wounded, and many wars are starting from these wars, which is basically, here it is, why we're talking about this segment here today, basically giving the second message. Here it is, as Yah have instructed to us. Here it is, the building of a 9 coalition, which joins with Iran. As we can see, this is starting to formulate, because we cannot forget about what happened in Philistine. And here it is, how Israel completely annihilated Philistine, and then Gaza completely wiped out, right? These was judgments. So now here it is. Some people didn't like that judgment. And that means other nations say, hey, why would you pick on them? Pick on us. So we're going to build a coalition. And it's basically from the Bible. Now, many times we're going to have to start looking at some of these key things, because when we go to Jeremiah, we must look closely at Jeremiah 47, because Yah is telling us this has nothing to do with just Islam or Muslims. This has something to do with a decree given by him. And here it is. He's going to show us tonight why this nation he has picked to put judgment upon the whole world and those who are with them. Because here it is, they are in a coalition. Enough is enough, right? Let's see here. So now here it is. Nations now are becoming more stronger and not weaker as they were centuries ago. And here it is, they're not allowing bullies to be bullying them anymore. Many countries are standing up and revolting against anything that therefore is wicked or defiled or an abomination against any kind of statues of humanity. So now here it is, we're seeing Christians also being persecuted in China. Taiwan have been taken by China just because there was a little itty bitty little country. So now here it is. You got bullies out there that's picking on the little, and Yah says, here it is. Them my children. Them are the kind of heart. Y'all remember the beatitude prayer, the meat of the beatitude. So now here it is. We know that many things the Father's done said and told us in our hearts. Here it is. We truly hold on to that. Because here it is, Yah says, I don't want you led astray by no one. And I definitely don't want you afraid of anyone. Because once you realize you're an Israelite and now you're returned as a remnant unto me, no one can snatch you out of my hand, he says. So now when we look clearly and see why Trump, the Saudi Arabia, and we see many other coalitions, allies that they're building, but now it is falling apart. And this is why they have Jared Kushner trying to go around and patch things up. But now here it is, it done got so bad, they done halted his trips. And here it is, and now have made those trips now digital screen meetings. Okay, just on the safety. All right, because here it is, a lot of people, a lot of nations, I would say, got it out for the land of, here it is, the so-called Babylon. And also many others that's tied to Babylon, who have therefore robbed and stole and raped, and here it is, put those in prison who wasn't meant to be in prison. We done seen these things play out, brothers and sisters. So now you got to ask yourself, when will enough be enough? Right? When will enough be enough? When will the pain, the sorrow, the hurt, and many other things stop, right? Yeah. When will one side lose their power over the other side? Okay? Because now here it is, it's not about their power, because everything is given by Yah. Man have never took anything. It's been given. Y'all better go back and look at the story of Joshua when he had to go take out all of those across the land when he crossed the Jordan. And many other times also with Moses. So there's been constantly wars brewing, and here it is, and also starting, and here it is, we are seeing many times over in our lives that millions and millions are at war with themselves.
Since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time.
Yep.
Since the plucking of the tree. Fear. And here it is. What is coming, brothers and sisters? I'm trying to tell y'all. Me and my wife, YAHWEH. It is going to change in a blinking of an eye, everybody. This ain't no game. And here it is. Don't take it personal, because here it is. Iran and all of the 9 coalition that's coming with him, on her, is basically only after the government in the system, little Satan, big Satan, Israel and America. And here it is, we are American. But we can speak the truth knowing that America hasn't been American dream for not all. Okay? So now enough is enough. Millions and millions done shared this same power, while others have therefore been separated from it. But millions and millions still say, that's my brother or that's my sister. Is that really true, brothers, sisters? That you are willing and therefore in your heart want to therefore make yourself just like those who you have persecuted? To feel, to understand that here it is, Yah says now, enough is enough. I'm sending what I'm sending, and I'm giving a message to that one who therefore I am sitting with. He said, I'm sitting with Iran. I control from there. Many of y'all might have to go back and see the archive videos, but here it is of us discussing that briefly. But now here it is. This is going to be the full length to allow one to see that what is coming up on not only the east, the ripple effect to the west, to the north, to the south. Mm-hmm. The word says she's hit from all sides. Let's get into the study. And I'm going to start off taking everyone to Jeremiah 47. Because when we get to Jeremiah, before I go to Jeremiah, hold on. Before I get to Jeremiah, everybody, let's see. I want to go I want to go. No, yes, I do want to go 47, 2 and 7. I'm sorry. Clearly, in verse 2, this is the message, the second message to Iran, right? Because here it is. This is what a war is starting.
Mm-hmm.
He says clearly, the Almighty says, see, waters are rising from the north to become a what? Terret and flood. They shall flood the land and all its, here it is, cities and their inhabitants. People will, here it is, howl or wail, every inhabitant of the land. At the noise of the pounding hooves of his steeds and the chariots of rumbling wheels, parents do not turn back for their children. Their hands hang helpless because of the day that is coming to destroy all the what? Philistines and cut off from Tyre and Sidon the last of their allies. Yes, the Almighty is destroying the Philistines, the remnant from the coast of Capitor. So now here it is. Baldness is visited upon Gaza. Didn't they flatten Gaza? Gaza was completely flattened. And here it is. Now they're building an AI headquarters for Jared Kushner, which is in the making right now. And here it is, AI. So now, as we continue, he says, Ashkelon is reduced to silence. Ashdod, remnant of their strength, how long will you gash yourself? Sword of Almighty, when will you find rest? Return your, here it is, your knife, stop, be still, or your violence. How can it find rest when the Almighty has commanded it? Against Ashkelon and the sea coast, there he has appointed it. So now you can't make this up, brothers and sisters. Yah has destroyed Gaza and therefore had put a whooping down on Philistine. Because here it is, as we have seen, brothers and sisters, millions and millions of views have been online showing this catastrophicness of the power of Father YAHWEH. Therefore, allowing Israel to know that here it is, y'all are really here that has trampled this land underfoot. You have worshiped wickedness. You have partaked in orgies, and here it is, homosexuality and many other things. So now here it is, and you have pushed the biblical children out of the land and made me scatter them through their ancestors. Enough is enough, right? Because now Yah says, you will keep on going on and on if I don't stop you. So now here in Jeremiah, we're seeing what happened to Philistines. We're seeing what happened to Gaza, right? And now here it is. This is allowing us to see the power of the Father. That he's not lying. He's showing biblical proof that you can actually see today. And now here it is. Look at Jeremiah with us, everyone. And I want to pull up verse 2 through 11 here on 48. Because when we look at Moab, we're looking at a people who are basically, here it is, are the ones that basically kept the wickedness going from generation to generation. So now what do Yah says here? He says, Moab glory is no more. See, Babylon is fallen and every counterpart with her. He says, in Heshbon, they plot evil against her. Come, We will put an end to her as a what? Nation. You see this? You too shall be silent. You, the sword stalk. Listen, outcry, ruin and great destruction, right? And then he says, verse 4, Moab is crushed. Their outcry is heard. Up in ascent, they go weeping at the descent to Hoberon. Look this for it. And they hear cries of anguish. Flee, save your lives, be like a wild donkey in the wilderness, because you trust in your works and your treasures. You also shall be what? Captured. And watch this. Here go the devils and demons that they are worshiping. Shamush shall go into exile. So now here it is, Shamush. When you look at that, that is a demon. So he says, his priest and prince with him. So that means all of the false prophets. Okay? This is why Iran is given this power to start with Israel. And here it is. And that ripple effect then starts throughout the world. Because now here it is. Once that energy have now taken hold of Benjamin Netanyahu and the rest of all of those who are involved, because here it is, this is a command by YAHWEH, the Father, because of what have happened to the offsprings of from the ancestors, us, by a certain nation of people, not just one color. Okay. And this is why judgment now will happen. You can put your hand on it. This is how true this is. Because here it is. After this is done, after we're done with this, people are starting to catch up like soda to the phone and see. Because now in 48, as I will have seen here, as said here, he says, what did I stop here?
You're at 8 now.
Okay, at 8, the destroyer comes up on, watch this, every city. Didn't I just say that? This ripple effect gonna start over there, and then it's gonna hit every city. Not a city, watch this, escapes. So brothers and sisters, what I'm telling you was finna happen in a year or so. Keep your eye on Trump's turn. Because he says, not a city escapes, ruined in the valley, wasted by the plateau, says the Almighty One. Set up a tombstone. Watch this. That means death. That can be physical or spiritual death. For Moab, it will soon become a complete wasteland. Not my words, but my father, your father words. ABBA. Because here it is. It will soon become a complete wasteland. Its cities turned into what? A ruin. Didn't we tell y'all that here it is? Her have never had a war in her borders ever.
Right.
So y'all have saved her best for last. He says, I'm going to pour her a double cup of her abominations, right?
Correct.
Y'all done been to, y'all Christians, some of you new who are tuning in are Christians and many others, Protestants. Y'all know what we're talking about here. So now here it is. Its cities turned into ruins where no one dwells. Cursed are they. So that's why I said earlier, Iran is not punishing the American, here it is, who are outside of America, even though they're in America, okay? Because here it is, we done proved that only one group or certain groups have been privileged throughout the centuries of this planet. And many millions have suffered. on the account of these nations. So now he says, cursed are they, verse 10, who do the Almighty's work carelessly. So now watch this. You're seeing Iran, here it is. They thought they was bombing their nuclear stuff, but here it is. Everything was on the ground. So here it is. It shows intelligence. And it shows Iran got a voice. And it shows Iran is an Israelite. Because here it is, I don't know nobody that like to be done wrong over and over and sanctioned so many times and told what to do like they're little children. When here it is a man and a woman is a woman, right? So now here it is. The whole thing that has been set up here from the beginning of time have only been set up one way for a certain group of people. But now Yah says, I'm using a nation and people, 9 of coalition that joins with Iran, and they will be blessed and will have much, much wealth. And here it is, will have their chance to run and rule the world. Cursed those who kept their word from shedding blood. That's in verse 10. Curse those who kept their sword from shedding blood. See this? Moab has been resting from his youth. See that? Have never ever had a war in our borders. Been resting. Suspended above, here it is, the clouds. Never poured from the never driven into exile. See that? She was never driven into exile before. It retained its favor. That means here it is, power, influence. Its banquets is not lost. So now we're seeing clearly that most of these things have happened. Yah have decreed these things on Philistine, have decreed these things on Gaza, have decreed these things on Damascus and Tel Aviv, and have decreed these things on Jerusalem, Israel. And when you go over there and talk to some of them people over there in Israel, Jerusalem, most of them are, all of them, I would say, are not believers of the Testament or the scroll, Torah. And they completely, we had a video one time where they completely say Jesus was created for the ignorant Americans. And that was being interviewed right over there in Jerusalem, Israel, in the marketplace. And they had no problem saying that out loud. Okay. So now here it is. This is why this judgment is coming up on Israel first, Jerusalem. And it's going to spread like a virus throughout. And it's going to be taken. Okay. And here it is. It's going to have a ripple effect with this because we can't forget about the North. Okay. And here it is. This coalition going to join up with this coalition. Oh, yes. Venezuela, Cuba. Y'all seen how they doing Cuba, right? You heard what Trump said. Yo, they won't last long. Power will be off. So that means what we just read, they planned. They've been planning, and here it is resting for centuries.
Yep. And
doing everything for power from the stroke of a pen. And using other people, boots on the ground, sons and daughters, to get the job done. And then when therefore they're discharged, they leave with nothing. So it was like all them years was for nothing. Let's look at the same chapter of verse 13. of this Jeremiah, because I'm pointing out these things to make these puzzle pieces pop, to allow everyone to see the time is short. So now here it is. Watch what verse 13 say here. Shalmush, watch this, shall disappoint, watch this, Moab. Shamush shall disappoint Moab, just as the house of Israel, watch this, was disappointed by Bethel, in which they trusted. Okay? All of those witchcraft, praying the trees, putting gifts down. You can look in Maccabees and see that as well. And making statues, molding images that violated all of Exodus chapter 20, brothers and sisters. And here it is. We have seen these nations constantly putting out abomination for millions and millions of people to pick up. And now we're seeing where the world is at right now. Suffering. And those who have suffered is suffering even more now. So Yah says, I'm calling you back to me so I can save you, but I must make aware to you what is about to happen, what I'm about to decree, and who I am using to decree this judgment from. Okay? So now here it is. Look at verse 25 of the same chapter of 48. And when we get to 25, the horn of Moab is cut off. It says, its arm is broken. See that? Wounded. So now here it is. Verse 31. Let's look at another point in the same chapter. We will be staying here most of the time in Jeremiah. So now in verse 25, we just seen, and now in verse 31, and so I wail over Moab, over all Moab I cry, over the people. See that? So now this is clearly Yah's disturbance to what he's going to do as he's speaking to Jeremiah, as it was then and as it is now. Verse 28, he says clearly, abandon the cities. So now this is for all believers to understand. This is a code word, okay? Because here it is, when these things start to take place, you're going to need directions of what to do for most of you. He says clearly, abandon the cities. He says clearly, take shelter in the inhabitants of Moab. Because it is, it's going to be so tore up. Yah says you're going to be able to hide throughout that land for those of you who are basically under my protection. But for you who are under the destruction, nowhere you can go or hide. Because he's saying destruction will be throughout. That means here it is. It follows up into your heart and kills you. Because Yah says, I want to wipe you out anyway because you haven't done anything righteous. Look at verse 30. I myself know his arrogance. See that? I myself know his arrogance. Almighty One. Liar in the word. Liar indeed. Don't you see that in most of the whole world? Okay? Because now here it is. We're not just saying America. This is mostly the whole world who are basically in this phase of basically not serving Yah, but serving the devil and Shamush, which is demons. Okay? Witchcraft, Torah cards, horoscope, birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's. Okay? Should I go on? That's witchcraft. Verse 31. And so I wail over Moab, over all Moab I cry, over the people, right? Now look at verse 33. Joy and gladness are taken away. This is why the judgment is coming through Iran, brothers and sisters. He says, joy and gladness are taken away from the garden land, the land of Moab. See this? So now here it is. America was the milk and honey. Everybody said, oh, I want to go to America. I got to go to America, man. They got the best jobs. They got the best schools. They got the best houses, woo, woo. So now here it is. The masks have come off of America, and now here it is. People are seeing her for what she really looked like. She's been serving the devil, okay? She's been holding on to his pecker, okay? So now he says, joy and gladness are taken away. Look at verse 35. I will leave no one in Moab. See that? Because here it is. Yah's telling everyone, Yah, it is a time for you to make a choice. Who you going to be with? Who you going to actually return to? Because here it is. Yah is saying clearly, I am decreting through my messengers, my sons and my daughters, who I am in spiritually. And here it is. I am decreting as an instrument through a frequency in them. So now 35 allow us to see this here is allowing us that I will leave no one in Moab. And then verse 36, my heart wails like a flute for Moab. My heart wails like a flute for the people. The wealth they, here it is, accumulated. Watch this, has perished. Yeah. Now you're seeing billionaires going back to work. Yeah. Okay? And people are saying, man, they are billionaires. Why is they going back to work? Because most of that was credit. And the money and the revenue is lacking. Because we're looking at the trillions and trillions of debt deficiencies that the country is in. Fuck it. The whole world is in. Yep. Because now here it is, we have had lame brain brands who therefore have come into office and have recklessly used their minds to therefore only hustle and therefore convict by their own, here it is, imaginations of what they think the world should look like. And here it is, it has caused millions and millions upon billions of people to perish around the world from just a decision alone. So now when we look at verse 36, he says, my heart wails, he says, like a flute for Moab. My heart wails like a flute for the people. The wealth they accumulated has perished. So now then Yah says, I'm going to send locusts up on her land, and she would devour everything up, all the resources. America used to have a lot of resources, not no more. Everything is limited edition. You feel me? Limited edition. And that means here it is. If you don't get it now, you might not get it tomorrow, right? So now we're seeing people more desperate than they were 50 years ago. So now here it is. We even seeing grandpapas and grandmothers even going back to work. Yeah. Okay? The same people, here it is, are tied back to government. Their parents as well as even gone back to work, most of them. Okay? Because it's a deficit. Now in verse 37. Every head has been shaved bald. Every beard cut off. Everyone in sackcloth. That means here it is, symbolical sin in darkness. When you look at sackcloth, it is a dark material. So that means it represents something that is not of light. So now here it is. We're clearly seeing that Yah is saying the whole land mostly are in sackcloth, sin. He only see a few light. like you, me, and many of you, IVI who are IVI subscribers. He see you. And here it is. But he also sees there's so millions and millions of darkness out here in sackcloth, who are not even thinking about what's going to happen. Because here it is, they don't even believe in the Bible, let alone any other religion they have made up. It's not 100% belief. Look at Catholics, only 20% serve it. Okay? What happened to the 80%? Where they go? To the devil. Okay? Same thing with those who are of Israel. Some stay and a lot go because they love the devil and they love lies, right? Anything a lie to them is basically like honey on your finger sucking it off. So now when we see in verse 37, every head has been shaved bald. That because most of the women now are having alopecia, hair falling out. So is the men because of sin, abomination, because of loving the lie instead of the truth. So Yah says, here it is. I must make this announcement because here it is through my messengers, because here it is. He says, every beard cut off, every hand, he says, gashed, and all of their loins are draped in what? Sackcloth. That means here it is down here. Sin, sexual lust, desires, okay? He says they are all in sackcloth. Remission of their sins, supposedly. But here it is. Yah says, I judge and see and look into the heart of the subject to see if you're really forthcoming with the truth of loyalty towards your justification. Because here it is. If you don't stop, then it ain't justification. So now let's look at verse 39, same chapter of Jeremiah 48. Verse 39, now terrified they are. See this? Yah is speaking. He's telling us, IVI, what the world is really going through right now. What therefore they're not saying out of their mouths. They're afraid to what is about to happen. So millions and millions and millions are trying to make themselves forget about what is coming, which is that nerve of alert letting you know something is about to take place in the coming soon. I wouldn't even say far future. So now here it is in verse 39, now terrified they are. This is what Yah is saying is you will be brothers and sisters who are not returned until Yah, Son, Yahweh. He says how terrified they are. How they, here it is, wail. How Moab turns his back in shame. Moab has become a laughing stock. See that? A lot of people are laughing at America. Putin is laughing. Even that Ukraine president is laughing. Biden gave him over what, $2-3 billion. And the man's still asking for money. Okay? So now here it is. He says clearly, become a laughing stock. Because here it is, if in a minute it's going to be without hiding the expression. They're going to actually laugh completely right out loud in their face. Once this plan now is set completely in place, which here it is, most of it is, it's all up to Iran and those who the 9 that joined them. Because here it is, he says, a laughing stock, and here it is, a rejection to all his neighbors. See that? That means no more threatening them no more. That means here it is, no more sanction us no more. No more sending your troops over here no more. Okay? No more telling us what we do and what you gonna do. Okay? No more. Because Yah said so. Our Father have said so. He has said now here it is, enough is enough. We must show them what's about to happen. And give them the time frame of tick, tick, tick of how fast this is about to happen. Look at verse 41, same chapter. Cities are captured. Strongholds seized. On that day, the hearts of Moab's warriors, that means army, military, become like the heart of women in labor. See this? This is in the Bible. As Jeremiah decreed it in the time, and as Yah says from generation to generation, so shall I decree my judgments upon. Okay? My people and those who are not my people. Okay? So now we're seeing clearly, cities are captured. Strongholds seized. Then they block the brigade. So now here it is. They cannot go get oil. Right. That's a stronghold. And that means here it is. Trump haven't moved them ships out of the way. Oh no. It's not that easy, son. So now here it is. We're seeing clearly the power of America have only been a bluff for all of these centuries. And nations been sitting back letting them do whatever they want to them. While laughing at us, the inhabitants, wondering why in the hell is they still in America when America lied to their own people. And therefore use wars to steal from you. You got to say, what kind of people is that? Moab, Philistines, okay? Gadnites, Jebusites, Kizanites, all right? These are those type of people. And their offsprings are in the land throughout the globe, study, cursing, and bringing abomination practices up on a land that's already cursed by them. They just won't stop. They know Exodus chapter 20. They say they're Christian. They say they're Catholics. But Leo the Great, the Pope, ain't told y'all that therefore you must keep the statutes and the creeds? That you must be righteous and not hate your brother or your sister? You must release what your ancestors gave you on and share unto those who are poor? You don't see people doing that, do you? But here it is, Yah says, but these same people who put people in captivity will go into captivity. And I'm going to be starting with their cities. And I'm going to be putting their cities in capture situations, which here it is, they're having shortages. They don't have the revenue they used to have. And nothing is fun anymore like it used to. People don't give a damn anymore no more about this or that and this. They're worried about what's going to happen. Right? And here it is. Those who are not, Yah says the scripture fits you. On that day, he says, because we're talking about something that's coming in a minute. He says, on that day, and I'm me and my wife and my brothers and sisters here at ABBA, we gonna be watching y'all. Yeah. And seeing exactly what you said you wouldn't do, but what you will do. Right. For most of you Christians, most of you Protestants, most of you Catholics, okay? Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Muslims, because you got some that's non-jihad and some, right.
That is jihad.
That is jihad.
Yeah.
So here it is. The world gonna have to make their mind up. Because what is coming, he says, become like the heart of women in labor. Verse 42. Moab shall be wiped out. A people, watch this. We are talking about the wicked ones that have been running this country to the ground and therefore punking many other nations and countries when they didn't have to do that. Look at Gaddafi. They took his whole damn country and made his people turn against him. So you can't tell me these ain't wicked people. And here it is. They've been doing this for centuries. Not just in third world countries. They've been doing this right here in America, right here in Britain, right here in any other place. But Yah says these particular people is meeting their doom soon. And there's nowhere for them to run. So the partying, they better do it now, because here it is, in just round the clock. All of that is non and void. Look at verse 42. Moab shall be wiped out, a people no more, because, see, everything have a reason. Because it set itself over against the Almighty One, YAHWEH, the Father. Remember in 1776, when this country was founded? Way before 1776, here it is, there was a proclamation that was made that therefore supposed to have been stabilized for all humanity and beasts alike. Because here it is, Yah says, I will bless the land. He didn't say, here it is, I'm going to curse it. Then there would have been a reason to start acting crazy, right? But no, these particular people were crazy from the start. Because here it is, they wanted to do exactly what Satan wanted to do. Shamush. They wanted to be their own gods that do whatever they thought that is right and wrong without a pure heart. So now here it is that we've seen in 42, look at 43. He says, terror, panic, and trap be upon you. Enthroned Moab. See that? Enthroned Moab. So he says, before the Statue of Liberty means liberty for all, but now you done found out liberty is not liberty for all, but liberty for a special group who so-called say they're special, who therefore have robbed, stealed, and raped, and took all of these things from many nations, not just the African Americans, but for every nation they done robbed from and lied to, planned against. And if you don't do what they want you to do, then therefore they're mad at you because you are not sinning.
Right.
Look at verse 44. Those fleeing the terror. Now, there's going to be Christians, there's going to be Protestants, there's going to be Catholics trying to run for their life when this happens. Okay? What do Father say here as I continue? Those fleeing the terror. That means when this catastrophic invasion happens soon, those fleeing the terror fall into a pit. Those climbing out of the pit are caught in the trap. Then he says, yes, I will bring, watch this, these things up on in the year of their punishment for Moab. See this? And this says the Almighty Yah. So now this is a decree from the Bible. You can't make this up, brothers and sisters. Because now here it is, when we look at this whole thing here, we see clearly that Iran has been sitting back taking this punishment for a long time. Not only from the Americans, but from many others who basically were scared of the Americans and wouldn't do anything with Iran. So here it is to what they were saying about a nation or people who are basically completely possessed under witchcraft. As we've seen, Shamush is in the Bible.
Yeah.
So now here it is. In verse 46, he says, woe to you, Moab. You are finished. People, watch this, people of Shamush. Your sons are taken into what? Exile. Watch this. Your daughters into captivity. So now this is what our brothers who are on the corners have been saying, really meaning, because here it is that you will go into slavery, because it will not be the type of slavery in my father's house, your father's house, Hamashayek, because there's no slavery.
Right.
So this slavery that they are talking about is right now this slavery when this judgment comes.
Yeah.
Because millions and millions of people who you thought were in this religion or that religion are basically going to unmask.
Yes.
And you're going to realize a lot of Muslims have come into this land. Not saying all Muslims are bad, no. I'm just saying that there has been a mix-up of decision for the individual, because if they would have knew that the Quran, basically, here it is a book that is defiled. Just period. And here it is. It has maybe a few good things in it, like any other book, but the Bible's 100% pure with no defilement. So now when we look and we see in 46, we clearly see, woe to Moab. You are finished, people of Shamush, witchcraft, birthdays. And he said, your sons are taken into exile and your daughters are into captivity. So this is talking about not only just the Caucasians, this is talking about any nation of people who have therefore intermixed with this abomination of thought and spiritual incline to do harm to another human being or beings. Okay? That means your intelligence is not intelligent to even be on the same side with wickedness, plotting to do wrong against those who are right. Shits. Right? So now, go to Jeremiah. No, go to Jeremiah with me. Yes, 49. And here it is. We're seeing all of these different nations who are basically scattered throughout the world, all different colors as well. And here it is. We're seeing against Ammon, the Ammonites, because as we know, when Joshua took the Israelites across the Jordan, they was battling all of these different nations, as we have pointed out. Now here in 49, verse 29, we finna actually see also about Arabs. Because here it is, we're seeing that the Arabs is in the Far East now, Middle East, then Far East, right? Now watch, Yah is pointing out all of these nations that had something to do with all of this filth that's been in the land. Now, verse 29, he says, their tents and flocks shall be taken away. Their tents, curtains, and all their goods. See this? Their camels they carry off. They shout over them terror on every side. So now here it is. Then it was decreed that Father Hamashayek has stated that in the end times, in Matthew chapter 24, verse 4 through 9 and 4 throughout that whole chapter, he says in verse 4, do not be deceived. Millions are being deceived. How? AI and many people who are following the anti-Yahweh. manipulating the ears to deceive the heart and to bring on a person's natural death. Okay? This is what these people do. They bring on your natural death. Because it is, when you follow their ways, you become dead. Dead in Yah's eyes. Okay? Keep that in mind. So now, look at verse 30. Clearly he says, flee, wander about, hide deep for lodging, inhabitants, he says, Almighty One. For Nebuchadnezzar's king of, here it is, we're talking about Babylon, has devised, then I tell you, these are people that love the plot, devised a strategy against you, drawing up a plan against you. Now, not only did they do this to the Most High, they have done this to any person, thing possible. People are constantly doing these things today as they were yesterday. Yah says enough is enough. I am now sending Elam, Iran, who will be the head enforcer, running the 9. They will be under Iran and be distributed power by Iran. And here it is, the north, the south, the east, the west. Mm-hmm. He says clearly, 31, he says, get up, set out against a tranquil nation. See, I didn't say this. My father said this nation of people is a tranquil nation, living in security, without gates or bars, dwelling alone. Now realize, Israel is dwelling without gates or bars. And here it is, they're dwelling in security because they're thinking of America as their backing in the UN as well, in Britain. But here it is, Yah has designed also a plan against this nation of people. And here it is, Yah has set a time frame, a clock. And we're getting there by this clock. And it is allowing us to see now why Trump received a $500 million plane from the Arabs. And then now we see why he want to make everything gold throughout Washington. Because he's been where? To Arab. He's been influenced. So now this is clear what I'm stating here. These people are the offspring of a people, just as we are offspring of a people, of ancestors. And here it is, we can choose to follow our ancestors' ways all the way, or we can make small adjustments along the way while we are basically coming back under Yah guidance. Because here it is, now we see the Arabs, there was an Arab slavery too, right? So now, when we do go here, brothers and sisters, and we look at against these Arabs, we now actually see in verse 32, their camels shall become spoils. See that? That means here it is, they're going to be invaded too. And he says, and their camels shall become spoils, their herds of cattle plunder. I will scatter to the winds those who shade their what? Temples. From every side I will bring their ruin. Now remember, at this particular time, in this particular situation with Jeremiah, now going ahead up into our time now, this is not about camels anymore. This is about gold, oil, and minerals. Okay? And this is why Saudi Arabia is so rich today with all the oil and things that of that land, and also of Egypt and many other of the Nile that they share, and Peninsula and so on and so on, have been given to them, have been put in their hands. But here it is. Yah says, you have not loved your brother or your sister enough to give unto them as well, to make the world a better place. No, you have only raked it in to make it look like you're making it a better place. So now, it's clear what our Father is saying, brothers and sisters, about Iran having this power, and Father sitting in Iran causing judgment from there, and to start this whole end thing from there. He clearly says, 33, Hazor shall become a hunt for jackals, a wasteland forever, where no one lives, no mortal stays. So now we're clearly looking at Gaza. We're clearly looking at Philistines, and we're clearly remembering what has already happened to what is coming into fold right now with the second message to Iran and the blessings of the non-coalition that joins them to bring prophecy all the way into fulfillment. Because people can feel it, man. And here it is. They know, here it is, what is basically what's coming is now seen with their own eyes. Now, this is against the Arabs. Let's look clearly at Jeremiah chapter 50. And now here it is, we're coming now up to date more and more, because here it is, Yah is saying, every generation I have used these tactics up on an inhabitant of people. Just as I did with the Tower of Babel, I confused their languages, and then they were scattered throughout the land, and wickedness still was picked up. So now here it is, when is enough? Yah is telling us now.
Right.
So now here is chapter 50, looking at 9 through 10. Watch this. Got some more evidence. He says, see, I am stirring up against Babylon. He didn't say I'm loving Babylon, that I'm going to save Babylon. No, he says, no, I'm stirring up against Babylon. That means America. A band, he didn't say just one nation. He said a band of great nations. So now you understand why the non-coalition is going to join Iran, because here it is, they're going to see that Yah have put all power in their hands to distribute. So now here it is, a band of great nations from the land of the north. They are arrayed against her. From there she shall be what? Taken. Watch this. Their arrows, or here it is, their troops. Now, we've seen Russia have troops. We've seen North Korea have a massive troop. We've seen China have massive troops. So now we're knowing the days have changed from this time of Jeremiah. He says, their arrows are like the arrows of skilled. He didn't say incompetent. He says skilled warriors who never return empty-handed. That means whatever they set their mind out to do, they conquer. So that means here it is, when they come for America, it is gone. And everything else around it, because it's been decreed by Yah. And here it is. This has nothing to do with the Israel or Israelites. This has something to do with our Father HaMashiach, of what the nations have done to his land and also to his people. So now, and that means all colors, his people. And now really, he says in verse 10, Chaldea. Now Chaldeans is those of Europe, of Rome, of all of the province, shall become plunder, he says. All of its plunder shall be what? Enriched, says the Almighty, Yah. And then he says clearly, clearly all its plunders shall be enriched. So now here it is. We're seeing spoils, this being taken. America and many other cities have been symbolized as great in power and having things and resources, while third world countries have only perished. And here it is, only was wanting to have the things that this so-called America had, which was under deception.
Right.
And here it is, history have been therefore erased and rewoven. And here it is, children have went to school and picked up nonsense degrees, because here it is, all information have been camouflaged. That is real information. So now we're seeing that America have been the leading force, along with Britain, along with Dutch, along with many others. But now here it is, we must now stand and look at each other. The offsprings to offspring.
Yes.
Because not only did those nations who run the world now and therefore have most of the resources, ancestors gave them that. So did our ancestors give us this, complex wisdom, which therefore it took Yah to bring in the last days to every heart that matters.
Yep.
Because here it is, this is what really matters. Those who really have a heart for justice, and here it is, being justified by Yah, by them changing their attitude and changing their ways, truly, no act.
Right.
This is the only way that they can be pulled into this grace of being not afraid to what is coming.
Exactly.
Because here it is, like I said, you can't not put a finger on Iran saying they're wicked. No, we done showed that Yah himself is using Iran. Y'all have to go back and look at our archives from our last previous study. Because now here it is, Yah says, I'm making all drink the cup, even the good, even though you know you didn't do nothing wrong. But I'm doing this to show them how loyal you are to me in times their wickedness to me. Okay? So it's all going to make sense. And here it is, when we look clearly in verse 12, same chapter, Jeremiah chapter 50, watch what we see here, brothers and sisters. Verse 12. Now, when we get to verse 12 of 50, it says, your mother will indeed be put to shame. See that bore you shall be abased. See that? See the last of the nations. Not my words. When I say the end, brothers and sisters, it's not me, it's my Father in me. And here it is. He's telling you what is finna happen. So now here it is. He says, see the last of the nations. That's us. That's this generation.
Right.
You only got a few. Y'all will find out in a minute before the end of this segment. And here it is. He says, see the last of the nations, a wilderness. And then he says, a dry land, meaning without joy, without happiness, without care. Okay? A waste. That means there's nothing of hope anymore, right? So now, when we see this, look at verse 13. It's same chapter. Because of the Almighty's wrath, this is happening. It shall be uninhabited. Become a utter, here it is, wasteland. That means continue. Everyone who passes by Babylon who didn't live there, watch this, will be appalled, and here it is, will also hiss or laugh at its wounds. Because not only have many nations been waiting for her punishment, because she's been offering punishment to so many nations, sanctions on sanctions on sanctions on sanctions. And here it is, have also devised plans against nations to take their land all together, like they did Gaddafi,
Right.
and Saddam Hussein, and many others. So now this is nothing new, brothers and sisters, but what is true, brothers and sisters, because it is revealing to you that Yah is about to close the world up. Yeah. And here it is. He's going to do it with Iran. And here it is. Yes, there are Muslims, but this has nothing to do with Muslimry. It has nothing to do with Israelite. It has something in all things to do with Hamashiach, his decree of what he said has been done that should have been done in the land by a certain nations of people who are living without care. Yeah. Didn't it just say that? Without bars, tranquil. So now you just can't make this up. Now in verse 13, as we have seen, we look at verse 14, same chapter. He says, take your post. Watch this. Encircling Babylon. This is Iran. He says, you who bend the bow, shoot at it. See that? That means anyone who joins with Iran in this coalition, it will be successful. He says, shoot at it. Do not spare your arrows. So Iran, don't just try to shoot a drone over to test things. Have a little faith. This is what Yah is saying, right? Yeah. Because he's saying, here it is, shoot at it. Do not spare your arrows. Rise or raise the war cry or alarm against it on every side. East, west, north, south. America is finished. She been finished. Only thing that's holding her up is a bluff. And that's about to go away. Look at verse 15. As we just said, it surrenders on every side once it's hit. It surrenders. Yep. So not only is you finna find out the outcome of the land and throughout the land, but you're going to see Israel, Jerusalem, and here it is, all of those nations that had a hand not only against the Hebrew Israelites, slavery, against all the slavery they have done on every nation of people that were weaker than them and was scarier than them. But not now. They're not scared no more. Because they now see her for what she really is. Yeah. So now here it is in verse 15. As he says, its walls are torn down. This is the retribution. This means something that was returned. Favor for favor. He says, from the Almighty One, Yahweh. Take retribution on her. That means all of her offsprings that share in her devised plans against nations, in those who therefore plot wickedness in their heart with racism, and all of those who think that therefore that they shit don't stink. Yah says, I'm coming for you. Retribution on her as she has done due to her, for she sinned against the Most High first. Yahweh. Remember 1776, I mentioned, before 1776, there was a proclamation that was made. And there was supposed to be some integrity for the people, for all liberty of people. That means not just one-sided people receiving all of the damn inheritance of the land, but to therefore have common sense to share the damn land. So now when we look here, we see, as she has sinned against the Almighty One, verse 16, Yah says, cut off the sword from Babylon. Now you see all her imports and exports are stuck in the water. Remember that, y'all? And they're still stuck in the water because the water is depleted. So they can't get all the way to port. And that is expensive when you got to pay somebody else to bring that shit to land. So now, and those who will sickle at harvest time. See that? That means all your wheat, barley, and many things that Israel was getting now is finna be turned around. They finna go into now exile. They finna be hungry. Okay? They finna be without. And y'all gonna reach in there at the last minute before their last breath so they can have a breath to make a choice to him. Okay? If they so willing.
Right.
Verse 17. He says, Israel was a stray sheep. See that? That lions pursued. The king of Assyria once devoured him. Now you remember when Moses used to go all through the wilderness and many others, that caused problems. He says, now Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon galls his bones. See that? Verse 18. Therefore, this says the Almighty, the YAHWEH of Israel or Israelites, because anyone now, any color now who returns back to sound doctrine is an Israelite. Yeah. So now here it is. Clearly, he says, I will punish the king of Babylon. That means any president, any governor, any mayor, okay, who holds power in his land, he says, as I once punished the king of Assyria. So now here it is. We're seeing clearly, Yah says, I use my decrees down each generation. Because he just said it, as I once. That means he did this before. As I once punished the king of Assyria. Now look at verse 21, what my father says. He says, attack the land. Here it is, the Marathims. And here it is, Marathim. And it's spelled Merathhaim. That's a Hebrew word, which means Jerusalem, brothers and sisters. So if you have your Bible name dictionary, pull that word up and you'll actually see that that word is Jerusalem. And those who live in it, in Pekod, slaughter and put them under the ban, says the Almighty. Do all, he says, do all I have commanded you. Verse 22, battle alarm in the land. This is what IDI is saying tonight, brothers and sisters. Great destruction is on the way. And here it is in verse 24. You ensnared yourselves and were caught, Babylon. Before you knew it, you were discovered and seized because you challenged the Almighty One. So now we're seeing why this decree is coming down from the Almighty Father of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Esau. Because now all is included because of what the Savior did by his blood. And for all who therefore receives that blood, receives the new redemption. And here it is. And if there is a redemption, then that means that the old spirit or old self have to die. That means your old life have to be gone. And that means the new one have to manifest. What is the new one? Yahweh. Because now Yahweh takes senior place in you. And you take the back seat. Being obedient to his guidance, his decrees, and the statutes of the will of the Father. So now here it is. This is what the offsprings of every nation have to do. You have to come out of yourself and come back into Yahweh. You have to drop what your ancestors gave you and told you and pick up now the pieces and the puzzle pieces of truth. Because this is what your time is going to have to do. Putting your story together, putting your image and vision into focus. Because Yah have a focus and vision for every generation. Just like he just said, like I used to do with the Assyrians. So now here it is. This is clear why we're going right back to verse 24. And he says, you ensnared yourselves. That means you put yourselves in this trap. Don't think somebody else put this on you. Don't think this is because the truth has been not setting you free. It's because you haven't set yourself free. So now he says clearly, you ensnared yourself and were caught Babylon, and were caught America, and were caught United Nations, and were caught British, were caught, and so on and so on. You feel me? So now he says, before you knew it, because many people, once they get some money, they don't know how to cut that off for what they need. You got in this thing to get the money for what you need, but now it is you got more than you need, and now you don't know the need to give. Right. Ain't that funny? People don't even know the need to give, but they treat their animals better than they know the need to give. But now here it is. That makes you a hypocrite. Because now Yah says you ensnared yourself. And here it is. You were discovered and seized because you challenged the Most High. Right? So now he says in verse 26, come up on them from every side. That means Israel. Here it is. Come up on them on every side. Because here it is. Israel will be surrounded as well. And Yah is going to stop the complete annihilation of that. But for this Babylon, America, and many of her allies, woo, y'all are hearing about it today. The Shamus worshipers. So now here it is. He says clearly in verse 26, come up on them from every side, up on, here it is, up on their granaries, and pile them up in heaps, and put them under the ban, and do not leave a remnant. So now here it is. This is a completely wipeout, right? Then verse 29. What did he say? He says, no, I want to go verse 28. He says, listen, the refugees from the land, watch this, of what? Babylon. So that means many people came to her, and now here it is, have been entrapped by her because they thought this was the land of the free, but really it was a mental slavery going on, and there was a lot of entrapment going on, right? And people are starting to figure that out now. So now, listen, he says, from the land of Babylon, they announced in Zion. See that? Then I say it's going to start ripple effect from the east, from over there in Israel, and then it's going to ripple effect throughout the world. And he says, they announced in Zion the retribution of the Almighty, our YAHWEH. Watch this, verse 29. Call the archers out against Babylon. He didn't say come and save them, come rescue them. He says, no, call them out against Babylon. All who bend the bow, or all who have weapons. Then Trump said, we need to stop Iran because they cannot have a nuclear weapon. You they daddy. Are you they daddy, Trump? Because you gonna tell somebody, a grown man of his own country, that he can't have something. Like he is incompetent to knowing what he's handling. Yah says enough is enough. I'm the only father. If I say you can't have it, then you can't have it. Not because Trump said it. Not because America said it. Canada said it, or any other nation of people said it. No, because if Yah said it, and this is why Yah says enough is enough, because you're not listening. Everybody is not listening. And here it is. He says, so we're going to make it very clear what's going to happen. And there's no denying this. So he says clearly, verse 29, encamp around them. Let no one escape. Then I say even Israel, Judah is going to be also in this wrath, but not judgment. Because Yah says, I am not leaving nothing out. I'm just making sure I make y'all an example to show what can possibly happen when you choose me. And what can happen when you don't choose me. For young man to old man, to young woman to old woman. This is basically what Yah is saying. I am the Father. And here it is. No one is supposed to be walking around here playing like they someone else's daddy. When you're supposed to share the land, share the world. It was created for humanity. Started with two people. No, started with one person. Then it became two. Then it became many. So now here it is. We're talking about that Elohim. He is the only Father that can tell you what you can have and what you can't have. Where did man come about? He let his household go beyond him. Because here it is. Yah says, you are the head of your household, man. And I am the head of you, man. So now here it is. Why can't man get that straight? Well, enough is enough. Because here it is. In verse 30. Verse 28, verse 29, verse 30, yes. Therefore, their young men shall fall in the streets, it says square. All their warriors, that means their military, shall be still or settled, on that day. So now we are seeing clearly. Therefore, their young men shall fall in the square, in the street. So that means here it is. This is catastrophic chaos that is taking place, that is coming, that is allowing man and woman to know that Iran has been given a decree by our Father, Hamashiach, and we done show where that is at. And here it is. It is allowing you to see this is the last generation of time, brothers and sisters. There is no more time. So now here it is. And this is allowing brothers and sisters to see Yah is not playing. Look at verse 31 in the same chapter, Jeremiah 50. And we see clearly, I am against you, he says the Almighty. For your days have come, the time for me to what? Punish you. So now here it is. This is Father Yah. And he says in verse 33, this says the Almighty, oppressed are the people of Israelites. At a time, it was just Israel. And here it is. Now it's all of Israelites who have returned back to Yah, to the hearing of the Spirit, together with the people of Judah. All their captors hold them fast and refuse to let them go. See, this is what every nation have used those brothers and sisters for. Your kindness for your food, hustle, and coming up, they call it. But they not worried about how many people they have therefore hurted or therefore caused to suffer. But here it is, all they know is that they have hustled or they have overcome someone in some way illegal. So now verse 35. Clearly, he says, a sword up on the Chaldeans, says the Almighty, up on the inhabitants of Babylon. See that? So you can't just make this up. Even they know that judgment's coming. Now you can understand why they have been building bunkers under the ground here in America. Why Walmart have been driving trucks underground. And here it is, why they have been now making so many recreational centers, supposed to be emergency centers. Why have they put national security containers in the back of apartment buildings? Okay. And here it is. Many brothers and sisters are non-aware of these things. And Yah says, when this take place, he don't want you running back for nothing.
Yeah.
Because here it is, most of the brothers and sisters are going to be running with the Chaldeans and running with many other nations that run with the Chaldeans and Moab and many other Ammonites, Assyria, right? So now when we look at verse 38 of the same chapter, he says, a drought up on the waters, and they dry up, for it is a land of idols, soon made frantic. Soon made frantic. And by phantoms. That's because here it is, hit from every side, every side. So here it is, they're going to come so fast, they ain't going to have nowhere to go. Verse 41, see if people come from the north. Now here come Russia. Because Russia been making a lot of sense about who are the true people of the book. Putin been showing who they were. But now here it is showing now who we all are. And here it is, and been showing what nation have been deterrent for all nations. And that's been America. Poking in everybody's business. And here it is, playing their daddy. Just because of some colony thing that was outdated. Okay? So now when we look clearly at verse 41, brothers and my sisters, of this chapter 50, he says, see if people come from the north, a great nation, the mighty kings rising from the ends of the earth. Verse 43, the king of Babylon hears news of them. See this? Trump is afraid. Don't let him bluff you. He is afraid. And he is bluffing till the bluff can't bluff no more. And here it is now coming to pass. Because now here it is, when Russia steps in with Iran in this coalition, man, North Korea, just think of everything north. Okay, and here it is, they join. They're not the starters, but they join. Okay. And here it is, you just can't make this up. This is the puzzle pieces, brothers and sisters, showing you the blueprint. Yah has been counting down since 24. And here it is, people missed a lot of information. Just like when they was trying to vote Biden back in. Trying to get Kamala Harris back in. So now here it is, we got now Jared Kushner floating around and scared too. And a lot of people didn't know that's a robotic man. Oh, yes. It's so much we got to be releasing in a minute to show the receipt. Yeah, straight robot. Okay, and they've been working on him for so long, and they finally got him to where they want him at. Best the quality they possibly can. He's the first AI robot. Oh, yeah. So now here it is. Look at verse 45. Therefore, hear the strategy of the Almighty, which he has, watch this, devised against Babylon. Hear the plan drawn up against the land of those Chaldeans. See that? He given also a name. They shall be dragged away, even the smallest. Their own pastry became because of them. Okay, was rejected, or here it is taken because of them. Their own pastry was taken because of them. Then verse 46. At the cry of Babylon is captured. Oh yeah. The earthquakes, the outcry is heard among the nations. So now all these other nations, such as Taiwan and many other places, Indonesia and many other places, they're going to hear like, wow, they can't believe the great Babylon have been taken. What? She's been now punished for her crimes? So now this is what the word of the Bible is saying and showing. Whenever there was a catastrophic anything on the news, just like the World Trade Center, everybody was on alert. Even when you wasn't at home, you was on alert at work, wherever you was, on a bus stop, I don't care. You knew what just happened. And this is why Yah is saying what is finna happen is going to be the same situation as those two buildings, but on a different plan. It ain't dealing with buildings. So now here it is. He says, all cry, Babylon is captured. The earthquakes, that means the earth is now in shock. And here it is, the outcry, or here it is, the shock is heard among all nations. Go to Jeremiah chapter 51 with me. Because here it is, we're walking you from the past to the present to now what is up ahead. Because now when we look at verse 51, we must pay attention to verses 11 through 14. Because Yah says, I want to make sure you are aware of what is about to happen. And here it is. It is your time to get your heart right as well as your spirit. Because here it is. Your spirit have to die and you have to be resurrected in Yahweh. Period.
Amen.
Amen. So now here in verse 11, 51, he says, sharpen the arrows, fill the quivers, and the Almighty has stirred up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. So Medes, for his resolve is Babylon. So now here it is, Babylon's destruction. Yes, it is the retribution from the Almighty One, retribution for his temple. Then I say it's because of his people. Because before it was physical buildings. But then when Yeshua came, he says, now your body is the temple. And anyone that has my spirit now has the Father in him or her. So now he says, now all of this judgment is for retribution for his temple. Okay, let's get that straight. Over the walls of Babylon rise a signal, reinforce the watch, post, sentries, arrange ambushes. For the Almighty has both planned and carried out, watch this, what he spoke against the inhabitants of Babylon. You who dwell in the mighty waters, rich in treasure. See, before it was Egypt. Egypt used to be where one went for silver, gold, and so on. Now in this time, America, now everyone flocks to America in Europe. So now he says, your end has come, America, Europe. And he clearly says, the Almighty has sworn this. I will fill you with people as numerous as locusts. You can't make this up. Haven't you seen every nation imaginable come to America now? Huh? So now here it is. He says, I will fill you with people as numerous as locusts. So now you got them from all over the world here. Who shall raise over you a joyous shout? He says, who shall raise over you a joyous shout? So that means here it is. Victory will be given to Iran and the 9 coalitions that joins with it. Because here it is. This is judgment by Yah for retribution for stuff that have been going on with other nations against other nations for no reason at all. Now go to Ezekiel, everybody. And I want to look at chapter 15 of Ezekiel. Pull out this one. And when we get to Ezekiel 1 through 8, 15. Warm one today, y'all.
Yes, it is.
We might end up, woo-wee. Pull out thing up here. So now what we got here, I want to look at Ezekiel 1 through 8. So now when we see here, we pull up Son of the Most High. It says Son of Man. What makes the wood of the vine better than the wood of branches found on the trees of the forest? Can wood be taken from it to make something useful? Can someone make even, here it is, a peg out of it on which to hang a vessel? Now, remember, Yah used make us in his own image. So now here it is, looking at that there, just going back to Yah is the Father. So Yah, if Yah is the Father, why is man trying to play daddy to everybody else, right? So now in verse 7, we're going to scroll down, even though it's 1 through 8. He says, I will set my face against them, although they have escaped the fire. The fire will still devour them. You shall know that I am, watch this, he says, the Almighty One. And he says, when I set my face against them, yes, I will make the land desolate. That means completely destroyed. Because they are so unfaithful. See, this is why Yah says I'm bringing a judgment on the last days or the last generation. Because here it is, they have gone away from my laws, my statutes, my decrees. So now here it is, I must have retribution, but here it is, there was a certain nation of people that started this. And then here it is, it just took off like wildfire. Others start copying this, so on, grab the water, and so on and so on and so on. So now when we see this, brothers and sisters, we see abomination, defilements, and many other things have led many brothers and sisters to be separated from their girlfriends or their husbands and wives, their children. This is the devil, because here it is, the devil don't want to see you work nothing out. This devil want to get in between, and here it is, he want to conquer and destroy. So Yah says, I am saving a special judgment day. And all of Israel and all of those who return will actually see who I'm using and why I'm using, right? So now, as we see 1 through 8 here, go to Ezekiel chapter 14 and look at verse 3. Verse 3. Ezekiel 14, verse 3. And when we look here, it says clearly, the son of the Most High, or the daughter, these men or daughters keep the memory of their idols alive in their hearts. Watch this. Setting the stumbling block of their sins before them. So now we're seeing why sin is been so strong in this world because of these nations, offsprings, who have now brought on more plagues and more abominations, more defilements, more things to follow that ain't about Yah. And here it is, have called man and woman to be disturbed in their relationships, their jobs, and personally themselves. Because when you don't know who you are, then you don't have identity, then you're lost. That's why Yah says the lost sheep. Because our brothers and sisters are lost sheep. Because here it is, this Hebrew book was told that this book was not for you. It was for different people.
That was a lie.
That was a lie. Because now we realize this book is for Israelites. So now here it is.
For everyone that comes back onto the Father.
For everyone that comes on back to the Father. Because now here it is, when we see this here in 14, now we can look at verse 7. Because now in verse 7, what do we see? I will set my face against them, although they have escaped the fire. The fire will still devour them. You shall know that I am the Almighty One when I set my face against them. Yes, I will make the land desolate because they are so unfaithful. Keep that in mind, everybody. This is why judgment is coming on the whole world, because of unfaithful. And that means here it is. Every brother and sister can look deep inside themselves and ask themselves, when have you been 100% faithful to the Most High? 100% faithful. By your hearing and your feeling in your heart, because here it is. Yah says, everyone have feelings. Because I gave you a heart. And I gave you a mind to feel what that heart feels. To know what that heart is going through, right? So now here it is in verse 10. As we see here, Ezekiel 14, and when we look at 10, he says, they will be punished for their own sins and iniquities, inquirers, and the prophets alike. So he says, even the prophets alike, and so that the house of Israel be no longer stray from me, so no longer defile themselves by all their sins. Then they shall know, or then they shall be my people, and they shall be, and I shall be their Elohim. So now this is clearly meaning being unfaithful once, twice, 3 times lately. Now here it is. Yah says, I'm asking you to become faithful and turn from your unfaithfulness because I love you. And he says, this is your way out. Because here it is. Yah says, what is coming either could be for your curse or it could be for your blessing. For your curse or either for your blessing. Because it is, if you don't put up the fight to keep fighting every day to do the right thing, then Yah gonna see failure in you. Because he says, here it is, until you have no more breath, you must realize vengeance are mine. That means to anything or anyone that ever put you through anything, even though you might want to do this, want to do that, remember, vengeance is mine. Because here it is. He says, I am putting a decree out on every one of these evil, defiled people. Because here it is. They have put you in such a situation where here it is. They have caused catastrophicness down to the last generation of offsprings, brothers and sisters, which has done made most of our brothers and sisters completely complexed. We're trying to figure out life, which direction to go in. Should they even try? You know what I'm saying? And here it is. This is what we call the hopeless. And here it is. This happens because of sinful people. And here it is. And not enough people on the side with Yah to put this thing to bed a long time ago. Like I heard a brother tell me one time that if he was back in the days of slavery, that wouldn't have went down with him. You know, he wouldn't have been tolerating none of that. At that time, at that generation, you was only going to tolerate what y'all wanted you to tolerate and not tolerate what he didn't want you to tolerate. Exactly. Just like many of our ancestors who was in the plantation. They went through what, and they tried to get away, and they tried to fight them sisters from rape and many other things. But here it is. When you are outnumbered, you are outnumbered. But here it is. You outnumber yourself first when you're afraid.
Yeah, and not following Yah.
And not following Yah, decree, because he spoke volumes in Deuteronomy. And we can go there and read. But here it is. This is allowing Iran, the second message to Iran, to understand why this power is being put in your hand. But not saying that here it is, this will last forever. Because here it is, Yah is using you, your nation of people, to get back at a nation of people. No different than he did from the days of old, right? Yeah. Now, I know you probably had a few things, maybe, you had to bring out YAHWEH and Micaiah. And I know I'm going to get to that by reading Ezekiel. Let's go to Ezekiel 18:1 before I'm going to pass this over to you. And I want to actually bring out something here. Because why I want to bring this one out, because what I just said is about that personal responsibility. Because every brother and sister have a personal responsibility to the Almighty Father, Yah, my Father, your Father. Because here it is, Yah says at a certain time, I'm going to decree something. But for the Israelites that are returning, they're going to be able to get this information to their closest relatives. And this is why it starts there first, here in chapter 18, because of Ezekiel. This is all about Yah's love and his direction for everybody. But now here it is. Let's look. I might not even read all of this because I know we had a 2-hour window and it's 8:28 now. And I want YAHWEH Micaiah to bring out some precepts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, let me see where I want to pick this up. I'm going to pick it up on verse 24. Verse 24 through verse 32. But for all of you IVI brothers and sisters, read, if you haven't read Ezekiel 18, read it. Chapter 18, 1 through 32, because this will actually allow you to see that Elam and Iran is building a coalition, and it's being built good, and it's going to go start right after Israel. And here it is. What you see in Gaza, what you see with Philistine, it's going to go up in there of Israel and get dealt with too. And Benjamin Netanyahu, prime minister. Here is some words here. Let's read. In verse 24 of chapter 18, he says, and if the just turn from justice and do evil. Watch this. Like all the abominations and the wicked do, can they do this evil and still live? None of the justice they did shall be remembered, because they acted treacherously and committed these sins. Because of this, they shall die. You say, the Almighty One ways is not fair. Hear now, house of Israelites. Is it my way that is unfair? Because y'all saying, when y'all have called me by all different kind of names, and here it is, have worship all other different gods, you say I'm unfair? So he says, are not your ways unfair? When the just turn away from justice to do evil and die, on account of the evil they did, they must die. But if the wicked turn from the wickedness they did and do what is right and just, they save their lives. Since they turned away from all their sins. See, this is what a brother and sister have to do in your mind and in your heart and in your spirit. He says, since they turned away from all their sins they committed, they shall live and they shall not die. But the house of Israelites says, the Almighty ways is not fair. Is it my way that is not fair, house of Israel? Is it not your way that is not fair? Therefore, I will judge you, house of Israel, all of you according to your what? Ways. Turn back from all of your crimes, that they may not be a cause of sin for you ever again. Cast away from you all the crimes you have committed, and make for yourselves, watch this, a new heart and a what? A new spirit. And then he says, why should you die, house of Israel? For I find no pleasure in the death of anyone who what? Dies. The Almighty Yahweh says, turn back and live.
Amen.
Amen. So now, brothers and sisters, now we're seeing why that was read, because of what is coming, because of this segment of the second message to Iran. Do you have anything on that?
Yes. So what we are speaking about now, the second message to Iran, bless the 9 coalitions. And what I'm going to have you guys do right now is pull up the word sighing.
Sighing.
Signing. I'll give you a minute for that.
Okay. Sighing.
And all right, you're there with me?
One sec.
Okay.
You say the dictionary going to?
Yep, the Webster Dictionary.
Okay. All right, I'm there.
Okay. An often involuntary act of, especially when expressing an emotion or feeling such as weariness or relief.
Sighing.
Sighing.
Okay.
Now, the next one is involuntary.
Okay.
INVOLUNTARY. Involuntary.
And it's good to bookmark these into your dictionary too. Yes. For these words. So involuntary. Okay.
You there?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And it's for involuntary, done contrary to or without choice. Involuntary.
Okay.
Okay.
So the best one would be done contrary to or without choice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And now I'm going to go here. It's a little note. Iran does have a role to play in the end times. I got some scripture points to make when we talk about Elam. So we're going to go to Jeremiah 49.
Jeremiah 49, everybody. Jeremiah 49. All right.
And Jeremiah 49, go to 34 through 39.
Okay.
Okay. And here we go. You guys are there yet? Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
Hope everybody there.
Okay. Yahweh's word that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning Elam in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judea, saying, Yahweh of Israelites says, behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might. 35. Yahweh, no, that was 35. I'm sorry, 36. Okay. I will bring on Elam the four winds from the four corners of the sky and will scatter them toward all those winds. There will be no nation where the outcast of Elam will not come.
So that was
36. I'm on 37 now. I will cause Elam to be dismayed before their enemies and before those who seek their life. I will bring evil on them, even my fierce anger, says Yahweh. And I will send the sword after them until I have consumed them. I will set my throne in Elam and will destroy from their king and princes, says Yahweh. But it will happen in the later days that I will reverse the captivity of Elam, says Yahweh.
Wow. I would like to go right back to that verse 38.
Go ahead.
Where it says, I will set up my throne in Elam. So now Elam is Iran. Okay. And now when we look at that, and destroy from there, he says. So the Most High said he will destroy from there king and prince. Wow. Right there.
Yeah.
Good you brought that up. Go ahead.
And okay, so now where we're going to go now is to Isaiah.
What chapter?
Isaiah 21, verse 2.
Okay.
There?
Yeah. Everybody there? Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters.
A grievous vision is declared to me. The treacherous man deals treacherously, and the destroyer destroys. Go up, Elam. Attack. I have stopped all of Media's sighing.
That's why we looked up sighing. Because it means, go back to that. So this is why the key words are important, brothers and sisters, because sighing, your key word, and what was that?
Right here.
An often involuntary act. An often involuntary act, especially when expressing an emotion or a feeling, weariness or relief. Okay. So now we are at verse, and now in my book it says the traitor.
Okay.
A harsh vision has been announced to me. And it says the traitor betrays. The despoiler spoils. Okay. Go up, Elam, besiege, O Media, put an end to all its groaning.
Mm-hmm.
So that means here it is, when something is groaning, that means it's complaining or it's causing problems constantly. So now here it is. That is a good precept right there, because here it is. It allows us to see this is why Elam is being used by Yah. Yah says he's sitting with Elam right now to bring judgment up on her.
Yep.
What else you got?
So I want everyone to go to their dictionary for the word stern.
Stern.
S-T-E-R-N. Stern.
Stern. Okay.
S-T-E-R-N.
Oh, okay, I understand. Okay.
Everyone there? Okay. Expressive of severe displeasure.
Okay. Expression of severe displeasure. Stern.
Expression of severe displeasure. Okay. And from there, I want everyone to go to Daniel 5.
Daniel 5. Daniel 5. These are some good precepts here.
Daniel 5.
Daniel 5.
And we want to go to verse 23 to 29.
23, 29. Go there. Hope everybody there.
Okay, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Verse 23, but have lifted up yourselves against the Almighty of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before you, and you and your lords and your wives and your concubines have drunk wine from them. You have praised the gods of silver and gold, of bronze, iron, wood, and stone, which don't see or hear or know. And you have not glorified the Most High, in whose name your breath is, and whose are all your ways. Then the part of the hand was sent from before him, and this writing was inscribed. This is the writing that was inscribed: Mead, Tekel,
and Perez.
And Perez.
Chico, Perez, and Mani.
All right. And it says, this is the interpretation of the thing, mean, M-E-N-E. YAHWEH has counted your kingdom and brought it to an end. And 27, Tekel. You are weighed in the balance and are found wanting. Perez. Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Now, when you go and look up the word mean, M-E-N-E, you guys look that word up. Let's go there. Let's go look that word up.
Bible dictionary.
To the Bible dictionary.
Bible
name dictionary.
So a lot of you, I hope y'all got that Bible name dictionary, because it's a very helpful thing to have part of your study. And these are Hebrew names here too, that we are actually fin to make into English. Okay.
So under the mean, M-E-N-E, it says who reckons or is counted. So you say counted. And Tekel, let's go to Tekel.
Doing good. This is nice.
One moment, y'all. Commercials. Commercials.
I hate them ads too.
There we go. And tekel, the meaning is weight. So who is counted weight?
So tekel mean weight.
Mm-hmm.
Tekel.
Mm-hmm.
Tekel.
Tekel.
Yeah.
And then the word Perez that's in here, they got the wrong thing here.
Yeah.
It says Perez, which means horseman. Well, that's not right. That's wrong. So we're going to put in the correct word, P-E-R-S.
If y'all can see that.
P-E-R-A-Z-I-M. Okay.
You see it spelled like that, and it gives a definition
of weight. Go in a little bit further.
See?
Yeah,
you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Tekel, it means weight.
Mm-hmm.
Not like weight, W-A-I-T.
Mm-hmm.
Weight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like balance and weight.
Balance and weight, right.
Yeah.
So that's a Hebrew word.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like teaching a little bit of Hebrew there.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So the next word, like I said, was Perez, which is wrong. The true one is, the true word is Perezim. P-E-R-A-Z-I-M. Perezim.
Perism. Yeah.
That
Perism.
means divisions.
That means division.
So you go back and look at the word mean, M-E-N, counted, tekel, weight.
Yep. Means.
And then perism.
Perism means division.
Counted, weight, divisions.
And it's not spelled P-E-R-E-S.
Right. It's spelled.
That's wrong in the Bible.
P-E-R-A-Z-I-M.
My wife found out. Yes, P-E-R-A-Z-I-M. Perism, which is division.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Now we're gonna go to Acts. Acts 2.
Acts 2.
Yep. 2. 9 through 11.
All right, get there. Acts 2. 9 and 11.
Yep, 9 through 11. There we go. 9 through 11. Okay.
Part 3.
Yeah. Okay. 9. Parthians, Medes, Elamites, and people from Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia.
That's it. And then we have Egypt.
And parts of Libya around Cyrene, visitors from Rome, both Hebrews and proselytes.
Wow, as well as travelers from Rome.
Cretans and Arabians, we hear them speaking in our language the mighty works of Yah.
And this is basically going back to show basically what we're talking about. Well, Iran, and now here it is coming back on a certain insurgent of people, with an insurgent of people, and finding out that what's in the Bible once is these Hebrew words is exactly what it says, what Daniel said too, and now here it is, seeing that's something. Division.
So now we're going to go back to a note and says nations involved in the battle, Gog and Magog.
That's the Ezekiel war there.
And we're going to go to Ezekiel 38.
Okay.
Ezekiel 38.
Ezekiel 38.
5 through 10. Ezekiel 38, 5 through 10.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And it's saying Persia, Cush, and Put with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all herds, the house of Togarmah in the uttermost parts of the north, and all his herds, even many people with you.
Accompanying you. See that? This is a coalition. This is the 9 coalition I was talking about.
Yeah.
Bam, go ahead.
Be prepared. Yes. Prepare yourself, you and all your companies who are assembled to you, and be a guard to them. After many days you will be visited. In the later years you will come into the land that is brought back from the sword, that is gathered out of many peoples on the mountains of Israel, which have been a continual waste. But it is brought out of the peoples, and they will dwell securely, all of them.
Okay.
You will ascend, you will come like a storm, you will be like a cloud to cover the land, you and all the herds, and many people with you. The Almighty Yahweh says, it will happen in that day that things will come into your mind, and you will devise an evil plan.
Right there, verse 10. Shall cross, he says, on that day, thoughts shall cross your mind, and you shall devise an evil plan.
Yeah, because I'm reading out the
digital
book, and he's reading out the
physical
book. So yes.
Yeah. So now as we see that there,
Ezekiel 38:11.
Now verse 11.
To verse 11. You will say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to those who are at rest, who dwell securely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars or gates.
See that? So now we're seeing, like with Israel, how they're basically feeling like nothing can happen with them. Same thing with many other nations. But Yah says, I'm decreeing now, and I'm starting with the ones who did the worst. And I'm going to make shame out of them, right?
Yep. Just like America thought that there would never be a war
in her borders.
And
there's one brewing. Yeah.
Now we got another note, and the note is the outcome of this end time invasion.
Okay.
Ezekiel 39:4-5.
39:4-5. So this is the invasion. Okay.
One moment, please.
Outcome of the end time invasion.
The outcome
39:4-5.
Ezekiel 39:4-5. Let's say, you will fall on the mountains of Israel, you and all your herds, and the peoples who are with you. I will give you to the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the animals of the field to be devoured. You will fall on the open field, for I have spoken it, says Yahweh.
Says Yah, Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
So now here it is. It is decreed, upon the mountains of Israel you shall fall. So now this is talking about over in Israel, like we said, it's going to start there.
Yeah.
It's ripple effect.
Yeah.
So now it's telling Benjamin Netanyahu what is about to be decreed soon. And here it is, how they feel like they have this thing handled, or have them at control bay, but not knowing that Yah done decreed it with Iran, what to do to set straight all land, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So now my note is pray of every sort.
Pray of every sort.
P-R-E-Y. Pray of every sort.
Not like pray.
Right.
Pray, like
pray,
hunt you down.
Like hunt you down.
Okay.
Pray. Yeah. Ezekiel 39:7.
Okay. Go in there.
Yeah. It's a little bit down. You there?
Yep.
All right.
Everybody there? Shalom.
Shalom. I will make my set apart name known among my people Israelite. I won't allow my set apart name to be profaned anymore. Then the nations will know that I am Yahweh, the set apart one in Israel.
So now, then the nations shall know that I am the Almighty One, the set apart one of Israelites. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So I just enhanced it.
Yeah,
But
that's all. Cool.
you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And now
I have my.
Okay.
Know, so it have come to my mind, intelligent voices, Israelites, Elam or Persia. So have you. Yahweh is pointing us into the nation who will bring a coalition of judgments on the whole world, upon even the saints and the 144,000 of Judah.
Wow. That's something there. That's some pretty good precepts. Why? Because you know that this aligned to what we have been with Yah teaching. You know, knowing that, you know, from the earlier periods up until this point now, we have made it to a point where we're getting to see what Yah is allowing us to see exactly what we read.
Exactly.
And to actually know who's following and who's not. And here it is, bringing out a precept like that just ties it into what I had. Because I didn't know you had some precepts written, but here it is. That just shows you that we're parallel, you know, husband and wife, because for you to be on one separate side of the house and me on another side doing the work of Yah and coming together with this together, that just shows the spiritual inclination. And here it is, the work that we both are doing separately. And Yah is in the midst. Yeah. Right? So we just thank everybody today that hung out with us here over this discussion, doing this second message to Iran. You know, and you know, we got love for all people. So here it is. We know, hey, Muslim, we got Catholic, we got Christians. We get along with everybody.
And everybody got a job to do.
Right, everybody got a job, but we don't judge. We just be sometimes in shock some things we might see people do or the motives they might have. You know, and to know that the forces that we are with, that they don't understand yet. And hopefully that they don't get in trouble enough where Yah smite them and take their life to messing with one of his daughters or his sons.
Exactly.
So us IVIs, Intelligent Voices Israelites, as you are with us who are subscribers, that's all who we acknowledge.
Right.
We know that therefore Yah knows what's in each and one of our hearts. And he knows exactly what we want out of life. It's good to have fun in the world. We're not saying that. It's the way to have fun in the world that haven't been thought of too much of importance.
Always put the Father first and keep it righteous.
And keep it righteous. We don't want to actually have to really see Atlantis all over again.
Exactly.
Because now we see that with our AI.
Yeah.
This is Atlantis on steroids. Because now it is, they're doing things that will wreak havoc on your imaginations. Because here it is, they're creating things out of creation and screwing it up. So we know that in the coming year, in these months, that Iran and many other these 9 coalitions that joins with them, they're gonna know exactly who need to be outed and who not to touch.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Yah has decreed that.
Exactly.
So that's why Yah says not all of you will die or all of you won't fall asleep. But here it is, you all will be changing the blinking of an eye.
Right.
But there's still the half that will be judged and the half that won't.
Right.
That's what the whole message is tonight, y'all. To allow you to know that even though Iran is gonna and Muslimry is gonna have a reign, it's gonna be put stomped out though.
Mm-hmm.
Because here it is, the anti-Yahweh can't have religion running with his 42 months.
Right.
Right? So that's a one-word religion.
Mm-hmm.
Have to start.
Right.
And that's starting now already, as we said.
Mm-hmm.
So brothers and sisters got to realize who and what you dying for.
Right. Exactly.
You dying for Jesus, Lord, God, Muhammad, Allah, Buddha, Shiva, Yahweh. You got to pick the right one, and it will be Yahweh.
Yeah.
Because here it is, he's the Son of the Most High.
Yeah. That is correct.
Y'all, we almost there, y'all.
Almost there.
And we thank y'all for hanging out with us tonight in this little discussion that we had tonight about what Father wanted us to share with you guys today. And we thank you. And spread this. Go over it again and again and again if you have to.
Yeah.
Make sure you get you a good Bible name dictionary for some of the names and Hebrew words you might see in your book so you can understand them better.
Yeah.
So till next time, we love you all, brothers and sisters. I am Yazra Yashambaya.
Yisrael Yahmikayah.
And we send our love until next time.
Mm-hmm. Shalom.
Shalom.